Thanks again for watching. Peace out.
All right, you guys, so I just got done editing today's video and I realized that the GoPro was on time-lapse mode when I recorded the intro originally. I swear I'm gonna get better at this as time goes on, but bear with me, you guys. Anyways, in today's video, we did a full detailing on the Evo, kind of like a paint correction that you could do without a ton of knowledge and just some tools at home. So anyways, guys, we started out with the paint feeling like a 40 grit sandpaper and ended with it as smooth as glass. You don't want to miss anything. Stick around till the end. We even do some crazy pulls in one of my friend's cars. So stick around. This is one you don't want to skip. Just a few months ago, I thought I was living the American dream, owning my own business, you know, the whole suit and tie thing. But at the end of the day, it wasn't fueling my passion. So I sought out a position in a brand new industry, which led me to MAP. I've always been into cars, and now that I'm here doing marketing and content creation, it got me thinking, why shouldn't I give a shot at building a car that I could enjoy and put it up on YouTube to share my passion with other enthusiasts? The only problem is, what car? And what can I possibly do that hasn't been done before? All right, you guys, so some of the products that we're gonna use today all can actually be found right on our website, but we're gonna start, again, by giving it a wash with the Chemical Guys Citrus Wash and Gloss. So this one is my personal scent of choice. I really like this one. I just have found it to be really good. Then once we're done, we actually are gonna use a Griots. It's a synthetic clay bar. I like this one simply because it has kind of like a handle, and it makes it really easy to use. As a lubricant, we'll also use the Griots Speed Shine. So I like to use this just hand in hand. Once we're done with the clay bar, we'll go ahead and seal it up with the Chemical Guys Jet Seal. I like this one a lot. And then lastly, we'll wrap it up with the ceramic, whatever this is called, the Hydro Slick Ceramic Coating Hyper Wax. So this one I also like. Interior, we're gonna be cleaning this stuff off with the Chemical Guys Inner Clean. This one has a really nice scent to it, and it also stays just black, and it helps retain that a lot easier. All you have to do is dust it off, and it'll last a lot longer. Our buffer, we've got a Milwaukee Orbital buffer. This thing is a beast. Luckily, one of my buddies, Alex, let me borrow it today. So shout out to you. Thank you so much. It's gonna make a huge difference and make my life that much easier. Hopefully you guys already know how to wash a car, so I don't think this should be much of a how-to, more or less just showing you what we're doing. So I'm not sure how well you can see this right now, but there are some of these pretty big chips in the paint. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to get any of that out, but a lot of these swirl marks, again, I'm not sure how well you guys can see that. But hoping to get out a lot of these swirl marks as I feel it. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's obviously tons of contaminants in the top coat. So I'm really hoping that we can get a lot of that stuff out. Same with as we kind of go around, you know, it's just contaminants all over. Obviously, that's not how it's supposed to feel when you run your hand across your paint. So that's what we're going to be trying to get rid of, as well as power washing all this leftover Plasti-Dip residue off the wheels. Hopefully we'll be able to get rid of that stuff and just get this thing back to its state, you know. Evo 10s are not supposed to be left like this. So public service announcement, if you own an Evo 10, don't do this. Also, we got my buddy Damon here with his E36. This thing is an absolute beast. Hopefully we'll have some cool content of this thing ripping around, maybe doing some sick burnouts a little later. Check out that little whirly boy right there. She gets the job done, I'm sure, right? So now we're going to go ahead and get started on the actual clay bar process. Now that the car is cleaned and dried, we're able to start doing that. So, and then I'm gonna try to only use the actual lubricant that I bought, the Griot's Speed Shine, or I think that's what it's called, and just use that as a lubricant for the clay bar. But we're gonna get started on that, and that's actually the part I've been the most excited about. So again, I'm just gonna take one more once over on the car with clean microfiber cloth, just to make sure that it's completely dried off, and that there isn't anything else on the paint or anything like that that's going to leave any additional marring or scratches just from the abrasions themselves. So we're gonna get started on that, and hopefully we can get rid of this sound. This has got to go away. It's got to get better. So now that the car is completely clean, you know, it reminded me one thing that kind of tends to happen the first time you wash your own car by hand, right? Once you have that chance to go over every inch of the car yourself more in detail, you notice all the different imperfections that the car has, right? So some of the things that I'm hoping maybe are able to get buffed out. Let's see if you guys can see that scratch right here. This should all come out. But this looks pretty bad, especially because the rest of the rear end is relatively clean, with the exception of that one scratch, but that should all come out. I've noticed there's, you know, some little minor door dings in here, some little tiny rust spots, some scratches down by here. These probably won't come out. They're definitely deep. This you shouldn't be able to hear when you run your hand across the paint, like I said. So hopefully we're about to get rid of all that stuff. Again, the product that we're using at this point is going to be the Griot's Garage synthetic clay bar. Again, it's got the nice little handle on there, just easy use. And then as a lubricant, we're using the Griot's Speed Shine. I'm gonna basically use these simultaneously. So I'm gonna get you guys strapped up to one of the mounts, and we'll go ahead and get started on the clay bar. I'm really excited about this part, so hopefully this turns out really well. Wow, if you guys can hear that right now, like, it's literally getting rid of all the contaminants as I wipe it off. You can hear it really abrasive and then go away. This is gonna be a huge game changer for this paint. All right, so I'm gonna go and grab a microfiber, wipe that stuff down, and we'll see how it looks. Got a fresh one here so that it's not dirty or full of anything. Wow. Huge difference. Wow. So again, I've only done this small little section right here. Hopefully you guys can see that, but you guys heard me running my hand over it before, right? So nothing versus the section I haven't done. One more time. Perfect. This is a must do for anybody's car. All right, so I've done the front driver, fender, front bumper, hood, passenger side fender, and the rest of the entire passenger side of this car. I don't know that you guys will really be able to tell the difference on camera, but damn. But then if you go over here, like right on the, just here, I haven't done this yet. You guys see exactly what I'm talking about. So again, if you guys are taking ownership of an older vehicle, This, in my opinion, is an absolute must. One thing that I've learned so far is to definitely pick up a couple of these. They're not too expensive, but if you drop it and this applicator pad hits the ground, it's got dirt on it now. And if you were to use that on your car, it would definitely mess your paint up. So make sure that you pick up 2-3 of these, because again, if you're like me, you dropped it right off the hood, right off the bat, and you needed to open a fresh one. So definitely pick up a couple of those. Again, links are going to be all down in the description for you guys to get them on the site. But again, I would highly recommend getting 2 or 3 of those, plus everything else you've seen us use, if you're looking to do some of more of a DIY at-home beginner paint correction on an older vehicle. So I'm going to wrap the rest of this car up here. We've got to do the entire back end and the driver's side still, but it's turning out absolutely amazing. I'm really pumped. After this, we're going to seal it all up, and then we're going to do a ceramic coat to keep it looking good for as long as we possibly can. But maybe we'll throw another time lapse at you guys as I finish this side so you can see it. So the last part we have left to do now here is just to finish up this side of the roof, and then this thing's officially clay barred. After this, we're gonna take a little taco break, and then we're gonna pull this thing in and get started on the ceiling. So I should maybe clarify, not the ceiling, the sealant process. Heaven forbid someone try to roast me in the comments. But overall, you know, obviously clay barring, if you don't know, is a relatively simple process that definitely, you know, will yield a good result if you've never done it before. You know, you can even hear it now as I'm finishing up. You know, it starts out really rough, and then it gets obviously a lot quieter as we go. So, you know, you can tell it's getting rid of all those contaminants. It makes the paint so much nicer. It gives it a nice finish. Obviously, it doesn't do anything if it's all, you know, chipped or anything like that, but having this large grip definitely helps to not drop the clay bar as often. This being a synthetic clay bar, theoretically has, I think it was like the usage of 8 clay bars in total just in this. So as long as you don't drop this, you could use it way more times and get way more usage out of just one thing. So again, as long as you're not an idiot like me and drop it a bunch of times, you should be good to go. But yeah, so we're just going to wrap this up here, and then we're going to go ahead and start to seal the paint with the Jet Seal, I believe it's called, the Chemical Guys product we got inside. It's Jet something, but yeah. So just wrapping this up, and then we'll bring it in after our taco break and get started on some of the last steps. All right, you guys, so we just wrapped up eating some food, getting some dinner in. As you guys can see now, it is dark outside, and here in Wisconsin that means that it's getting pretty cold right about now. So as you can tell, we brought the Evo in. This is a heated garage, but the heat was turned off. The garage doors were obviously open, and while we were eating, obviously the paint and everything out here got relatively cold. So we're gonna go for a rip in the 36, go and get Damon's other car, and then we'll come back and we'll finish what we were doing over here. But just to fill some time, we're gonna go have some car fun. So if we haven't explained it yet, this thing last year made like just shy of 700 wheel, and this year he's got a much larger turbo, so it should be close to 800 you're pushing for? Yeah. Right on. So this thing's obviously pretty gnarly. Also, I thought it might be worth noting that, like many of the other E36s on the internet, I know Jimmy Oaks specifically had this in one of his recent vlogs with his E36. The seat sits a little bit to the left, huh?
Yes, very much so to the left.
Yeah, it's like just enough to be really annoying, but still be able to drive it and get used to. So I guess that's a common thing. Something you never know about until you start modifying a car, but apparently the seats like to sit a little to the left. Yeah, brand new turbo on here, put on maybe just last week, hasn't been able to go and get it tuned yet, but damn, you can tell it's gonna be a saucy. I'm with it. All right guys, so after a long turn of events with the 36, we're finally back to detailing the Evo. I just gotta finish putting on the sealant, then the ceramic coating, and wipe down the interior stuff that we showed you from before. So I'm just gonna knock it out one panel at a time, get you guys on a little time lapse or something like that, and just get this done. Alright you guys, so I didn't do a very good job of explaining this in the video, but the instructions on the Chemical Guys product instructs you to buff it on, let it sit for a little while, and then come back around and buff it off. You'll see I do that just as I come around the side here to buff off the driver's side front fender, and then I actually go back around into some of the more detailed areas with a microfiber cloth just to make sure that I got everything off. So I didn't want to leave that part out because it is important if you're going to go and do this to your car that you obviously buff it on, change pads, and then buff it off. So just want to make sure you guys got that. All right, you guys, so just got done putting the sealer on the car. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is get the ceramic coating on, and that'll, then we gotta wipe some stuff down on the interior. God, this is taking forever. It's already getting kind of late, but this thing's gotta get put together pretty soon so that when the time comes, I can just make the trip back home and go to sleep tonight. So nonetheless, like I said before, I'm gonna stay busy and just get this ceramic coating on so that when I decide to, I can go home. All right, so we're just sitting here applying some good old Chemical Guys Hydro Slick, talking about the old days when you used to name your Pokemon some dumb names. So you'd be sitting there with a Pidgey named and a Charmander named. So you go in and your lineup's just and then you go ahead and name Gary like man, the that comes up when you're working on cars at 1 o'clock in the morning. I tell you. What time is it? 1:30 in the morning. Nothing like putting a good old layer of Hydro Slick on at 1:30 in the morning. All right, you guys, so I don't think I filmed much, if anything, of the ceramic coating process, but if you're anywhere near familiar with it, it's literally just wipe it on, buff it off. Now we're gonna go ahead and finally tackle some of the stuff on the interior. I really mainly just want to tackle the dash because there is a lot of residue left over from where they had previously mounted the access port before. So I really want to clean that up and also just kind of get some of this nice scent in there. It'll just help the car smell a little better. So yeah, so again, I'm just going to knock that out. Again, super simple process, just spray it in, wipe it off. Gonna knock that out and then we're good. I don't know how well it picks up on camera, but this thing looks a million times better than it did at the start of the day. You can see a lot more of the flake in the paint. Obviously running your hands over it, it's really nice and smooth. Doesn't make any more of that sound like sandpaper. So overall, I'm extremely pleased with the results that we got. Again, if you guys are looking to get any of these products, the links are down in the description for you. So if you're looking to do any of the stuff that I did today to the Evo to your car, go ahead and check some of that stuff out. Again, super easy, pretty self-explanatory items. So again, not a whole lot of guesswork coming in on how you do it or anything like that. And if you do have any questions, aside from what you saw in the video, everything's got instructions on the back. So you can read that stuff and pretty much figure it out for yourself. So nonetheless, like I said, I'm gonna knock out this interior and we're gonna get out of here. So we're finally done. It's been a really long day. We started this at about 4:30. The time is currently about 2:30 in the morning. Obviously there were some things that came up while we were trying to do this that, you know, took away from just the detailing. But again, I mean, the results turned out amazing. I think they speak for themselves. I don't think that you guys can necessarily tell how much of a difference it made on camera. It's kind of hard for me to tell how it looks right now, just on the screen. So I guess we'll have to review and see kind of again, if you guys can tell the difference right now or not, but you know, touching and feeling it, definitely a huge difference. Obviously some of the imperfections in the paint, like, you know, these big chips and things like that, I mean, you're not gonna necessarily just be able to wash the car and get that stuff away, obviously. So there's gonna be some body work that needs to be done. There's gonna need to be some painting. Hopefully we can get this thing back to a pristine state. But again, when you pick up a salvage title Evo 10, you know, you can't necessarily expect perfection. One thing I did want to touch on that I realize I haven't yet, again, when you take ownership of a car, typically something that you guys would do would obviously be things like checking the fluids and things like that. I actually know where those things are in terms of like their life, because when MAPerformance, when we took the car, give or take 8 or 9 months ago, they did a thorough rundown on all of that and replaced all the fluids. So we know exactly where everything is at. Obviously for you guys, if you are doing this like a big overhaul day like I did today on just, again, routine maintenance and just trying to restore some of the things that have maybe been messed up just by age, you know, again, that would obviously be some of the things that you guys would do that we didn't do today. So again, we did everything we could to bring the paint back. We cleaned the interior just to get some of the, again, some of that residue off the dash and things like that. I'm pretty confident that just about anybody could figure this stuff out. The only thing could be maybe messing up with the buffer if you just kind of overuse it. But stay tuned. In the next videos, we'll actually start doing some performance modifications. So there's plenty of things that need improvement. Most importantly, the tune on this car. And I can't wait to figure that out because, again, the car runs pretty bad and it's not fast at all right now. So it definitely doesn't feel like it has the soul of an Evo right now. It's got the soul of a Lancer. In the next video, you guys will see us start to address some of those problems and kind of run through what those plans are to make this thing actually fast again. So definitely make sure you subscribe, like the video, and leave us a comment down below if you have any suggestions as far as what parts you'd want to see us put on the car, what type of maintenance you think that we should do. Because again, this is the first Evo I've, you know, personally tried to, you know, work on or make fast for that matter. So I am new to the 4B11T, so any advice from you guys is definitely appreciated. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again for watching. Peace out.